Hello everyone, so real talk with you, a little bit about me. Technically, I still am a student right now. So specifically, I am in an engineering school based in Paris with a major called Robotics and Drone Systems. So for the little story, before I integrated this school, I was purely focused on software. And when I went back to engineering school, I was very intrigued by this particular major because it was the furthest away from what I learned before. We'll talk about this in another video, but I'm also very interested in medical-based technology. Like for example, the Da Vinci robot or any particular kind of hardware stuff related to the medical industry. But I'm now faced with the fact that I just started a new job and it is mostly related to software, which is okay. I love my job, but I would like to work on more hardware-based stuff. And for example, during my school days, even though my school days were just like a couple of months ago, we worked on a lot of different hardware projects that I absolutely love to work on. This is an example of one of them. To give you some context, we were working right there on a 6 axis of freedom robot that would be related to a WebGL viewer. That was the idea. So we were a group of 6 students and I had a little bit of an overview kind of hat, like managing the different elements and stuff like that. And I was also closely related to the software part of the project. And so now I have a full-time job, sometime, and also this platform on which I need to show stuff, right? And so that's the thing. I would like to try to have a project like this, but all to me, everything done fully alone. And also, not only that, I also do have quite some equipment that would help to do these things. So first of all, that's a little bit niche. Back in the summer 2022, I built my own Prusa printer, which is right now down there under my desk. And I am using it, but not as much as I would like it to be, because also we do have a lot of 3D printers at work that I use a lot. But yeah, this is part of my arsenal, as well as from my previous projects, loads of little components that I have laid around me right now. Like for example, like NEMA 17 motors, Arduino boards that I have right there, bunch of cables, some chips that I don't know what they do, whatever, a bunch of ESP32s, segmented panels, servo motors, and so on and so forth. So I have all of these things, a need to learn new stuff and get closer to hardware, and an idea. I just told you that I worked on the 6 degree of freedom robot recently at school, but we were 6 people and it was over a long run. I would like to try to have more modest little ideas and try to go from there and like add degrees of freedom over time. And so why not start with a 2D robot? So I had a particular idea in my head, but I wasn't sure how this was called exactly, the name of the contraption, but it turns out the closest to my idea would be a 2 degrees of freedom parallel robot. So essentially, let me do a little bit of a drawing right there. So essentially, you would have 2 motors right there, one here and one here. Let's call them M1 and M2, with 2 arms like that. This, a joint right there, same thing over there, and they are joined at their ends right there. This would be the end effector right there. And based on the position of this, it would be XY. Doing some inverse kinematics, you would be able to have the angle of these 2 motors right there. So I maybe said a mistake, right? I know that it would be inverse kinematics if you would like place this and do the calculations based off of this, but like I would like to do the opposite. So I think it would be direct kinematics. Based on some angle I would give right there, this would result in this being on a particular XY coordinate. So yeah, that's the main idea. And so I would have this robot that moves, right, cool, but like what would it do exactly? Well, I'm sure a lot of you know about the axis draw. So it's essentially a CNC sort of pen plotter. And I heard about this one because I follow a lot of generative design guys over on Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. And I love this idea of like merging both physical things, meaning like an actual like artwork that would be like drawn in front of you, and also with code. Let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. There you go. This guy right there, exactly that, like a pen plotter, and he made that with code in the actual pen plotter that is right there. How is it done in the background, or what he uses, if it's an axis draw or whatever, I have no idea. I know that it's a pen plotter and that it looks fucking insane. This is amazing. If you don't know this guy, Quentin Ogde, just go over there. Just go over there on X, or I think he also has yes, he does have an Instagram, but like his work is fantastic. But yeah, I would like to do that, but completely from scratch. Like essentially make my own pen plotter. In terms of features, exactly. So as I said, I would like it to be 2 degrees of freedom to be able to do 2D artwork. I would like to have an aesthetic solution for interchangeable pen holders, essentially. Concerning the size, I would like to be able to plot. Is that a verb? I would like to be able to plot on a quarter of an A4 piece of paper. I'm sure this is an actual size, but I didn't look it up. Well, let's look it up right now. Oh, there you go. So it would be A6, I assume. Yeah, this little thing right there. So yeah, I would like to be able to plot on an A6 piece of paper, which would be 105 by 74 millimeters. So that would be like the maximum reach of the actual robot. I would also like it to be as 3D printable as possible, because if some people are interested in this project, they would also like to somehow share the files some way or another. I would like it to be based on Arduino, more specifically on the ESP32, because this does have networking connection that would allow us to have a lot of fun, I guess, with just like the internet in general. We can imagine a lot of things and use this channel to show you the progress. Again, a little bit of story time. So every time we had a project with multiple people at school, it's always difficult to follow deadlines because a school schedule, as you may know, always moves around. And obviously, school is going to take the upper hand when it comes to, do I work on this exam or this particular project? So I never was really into deadline when it came to make projects, but I always was, as long as you have some progress every week, I'm going to be okay with it. And I stuck to this rule to this day, where when I work on something, whatever it is, I do try to make just a little bit of progress every day, even if it's just like one commit of a comment or like anything like that. Like for this project, let's say like it would be just like plugging one cable into some tests. I would be okay with it. I just want to be able to show what I'm working on, show that there is progress, and gain some knowledge in the process. There you go. So what has been done right now? I did a bunch of research, first of all, to see what I had in my arsenal that I could use. I have one NEMA 17 motor. I would have to acquire one. I also did some electrical research to know what I was going to need. I knew that, so for my thing to work, so essentially I would like a module that sends information. We talked about it. That would be my ESP32 based dev module. But to do that, you cannot send that directly to the motor. You need a motor driver. And thankfully, I did have one based off a past project. Wait, this is going to be very small. And boom. Yeah, there you go. This tiny driver. This is what receives the information from the Arduino and sends it to the actual motor. But again, so we have the data aspect of things, but a motor, as you can imagine, requires some juice. And a thing that I do not have right now is a power supply. But at work, as you can imagine, I have access to some guys who do a lot of making on the site, and I'm trying to ask around for components that they don't use. I would be very okay with like buying whatever, but to try to do some upcycling as much as possible on this project that might not even work, I would like to try to ask around for other things. And apparently a power supply is something that like mechatronics people have loads of. So yeah, some research on what components I already had, how I would like it to be. So I showed you the basic premise of the project, but exactly how I would like it to be. I would like so like this would be like a top view, boom. And a side view would be like, I actually have my two NEMA motors actually on top of one another right there. And with the arms extending like this, boom, boom, and boom. This would be the joint of the top module. This would be the joint of the bottom module. This I named it MT and MB for motor of the top and motor of the bottom. And over there would be the pen holder module. So this is what I'm trying to achieve. So I already have one motor. I need to acquire this. And right there in the back, I would have my ESP32 that would do all of the logic and all the calculations based on two drivers. So this would be driver 1 and driver 2, boom and boom. And this sends the information right there. Oh, and with the power supply in the background, providing the juice for both of them. Oh, this is a mess, Jesus Christ. But you get the idea. I'm sure you do. Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, in terms of research, this is what we have right now. So I also got started on actual modeling to try out some tolerances. And this is the first thing that we have right now. This would be like one of the joints. So this is pretty small, but like this was mostly to test out the tolerances for a bearing that is in the middle right there. And also this that will stick on the shaft of the actual NEMA motor. Let me show you. So boom, this is the NEMA motor right there. And the shaft is not totally round. You have a little bit of a, I don't want to say flat spot because I'm going to get gaslit in the comment because I said something stupid, but I'm going to call it that. there is a flat spot on the shaft that allows you to slide things in. And I made it very, very tight so that it is solid, but with a little bit of force. It's not really scientific, but it sticks in place. And this already works. So at least we have an idea of the tolerances and how we can friction fit some bearings inside of the module. So yeah, so what else have I done? I also looked into some Arduino workflows. If you guys worked with Arduino before, you saw how easy it is. There is an Arduino IDE that is very, very straightforward with a very easily understood scripting language. But I would like to try to learn new stuff, and I've been looking into something called Platform.io, if I recall correctly. Yeah, so Platform.io, there is an extension for VS Code that allows you to have good project management on these kind of things. And I think I would like to try to play with this rather than the simple vanilla Arduino projects. So there is that. And also, so I talked about like the top-down architecture. I would like to have this robot, and I am right now working on a bracket to like sustain the actual two motors. This is a quick sketch to maybe see what this is going to look like. But yeah, that's the idea. So now what is to come? Obviously, there is a lot of things to do. Right now, I'm still on the discovering phase of the project. I am sure I will arrive into a lot of blockers for sure. But until then, I would like to have a simple stepper motor controller to be able to just like understand how the NEMA motors work. I already looked into like micro stepping, how the different phases work, the internals of the motors and that kind of stuff. It would be nice also to have a full Fusion 360 model, Fusion 360 being the actual modeling software I use for my 3D printing projects. It would be nice to also just gather the components. I think this is a pretty basic robot design when it comes to components, so it won't take me too long to do that. I just would like to have them like laid in front of me so that I can actually see what I'm gonna need to work with. And also, that I am pretty excited about. So as I said, this would look like this from the top view, right? And there would be a bunch of vector mathematics to do. And so I am sure if I ask ChatGPT or whatever, like the math is already done somewhere online where I just need to like plug, I guess, the different like lengths of the different joints. I would like to try to see if I have enough knowledge in vector mathematics to be able to figure out the math myself. Those sound like famous last words, but we will see. I would love to code this by hand to learn a few things about inverse and direct kinematics. So yeah, that's the beginning of this new project. It's been a week. Already a few things have been done, which is motivating. But again, it's the beginning of a project. It's always like this until I will encounter a problem. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be different from what I'm used to do. And I hope to learn a lot of things from it and maybe teach you some things in the process. So yeah, I think that's it for me. Thank you very much for sticking around, and I see you guys very soon on the internet. Bye-bye, everyone.